Habemus Papam. We have a new Pope.
Habemus Papam.
These words began in 1978, one of the longest pontificates in the history of the Roman Catholic Church. For the second time in only 2 months, the College of Cardinals had chosen a new leader. His name, Karol Józef Wojtyła, Pope John Paul II. He was 58 years old when he became the 264th Pope.
Sia lodato Gesù Cristo.
His appointment was a sensation. The first non-Italian Pope in 455 years, the first Slavic, and the first Pope from a communist country. Without any doubt, one of the most influential and also one of the most controversial figures, Pope John Paul II has built bridges between nations, cultures, and religions like no other pope before him. In order to understand how this pope has redefined the role of the Catholic Church in the world, one must take a close look at his heritage. Karol Józef Wojtyła was born on May 18, 1920 in Wadowice, Poland, the son of an administrative officer in the Polish army and a former school teacher. Karol was an ambitious child. At the age of 10, he starts learning German, at 13, Latin, and at 14, Greek. By the time he became pontiff, he spoke 8 languages, a skill that has helped him connect with the people throughout his life. Was it just coincidence or destiny that Karol Wojtyła's birthplace was only 1 block away from the local place of worship? Kościelna, Church Road, a road that he first crossed on June 20th, 1920 on his way to be baptized, and a road that he should follow for the rest of his life. Today, Karol's birthplace is a museum, visited by thousands of people from all over the world every year. Looking down from one wall of the room where baby Karol was born, the portraits of his mother and his father. Throughout the building, the walls are covered with hundreds of photographs documenting every stage of the life of a man who has touched so many and whose memory will linger forever in our hearts. His friends remembered Karol Wojtyła as an intelligent, friendly, and sociable man. When he did not lose himself in his book studies, which was the case most of the time, he enjoyed playing soccer, skiing, kayaking, swimming, and hiking. His passion for the great outdoors has not left him until the end of his life, and it is a testimonial to the deep connection that this man felt to nature and God. In 1938, Karol Wojtyła leaves Wadowice and enrolls at the Krakow University to study Polish philology. He lived in a house that belonged to his mother's family, the Kaczorowskis. Karol had always been interested in literature, and for a while even thought about becoming a professional actor. While still in high school in Wadowice, he had been involved in school theater and had performed leading roles in several plays. On September 1st, 1939, the German army invaded Poland. Only 27 days later, Poland surrendered. The Germans closed all universities and even tried to impose the use of German as the official language. On November 6, the teachers of the Jagiellonian University, who had tried to keep the institution open, were deported by the Nazis. Thus, the Holy Father's studies in Polish philology ended after only 1 year. In order to keep his work permit, and therefore avoid the German manhunts, Wojtyła worked as a stonecutter for the Solvay factory. During these hard years, he became even more involved in theater work, writing plays and putting up secret forbidden performances. He also felt more and more drawn to what should be the mission of his life. In 1942, 1 year after his father's death, and while the war was still raging, Karol Wojtyła began studying theology. He was only 21 years old when he decided that he wanted to become a priest. The Nazis did not allow the training of new priests, so Wojtyła had to conduct his studies in secret. He kept his job as a stonecutter for Solvay, but in an effort to help him out, the management transferred him from the quarry where he used to work to the factory itself. A bronze plaque mounted on the wall of the main building is a silent reminder of these dark days. The archbishops of Jehá had set up a secret seminary, and from 1944, Karol was given a room at the Archbishop's Palace in Kraków. Here he studied in hiding until the war was over in 1945. The following year, on November 1st, 1946, Karol Wojtyła was ordained as a priest. The Soviet communism had man's liberation from slavery and oppression written on its banners, but wherever it came to power, it only established yet another totalitarian dictatorship. For Karol Wojtyła, who had worked in communist Poland as a priest and bishop, the conflict between the communist idea and how it was put into practice became a determinant factor in his life. In the 1940s, still interested in theater, he dealt with this conflict in a play, comparing the answers of Marxism and Christianity. In this play appears a political agitator whose character is inspired by Lenin.
Put it differently, that you have rights, human rights, but you are being denied those rights.
Who denies us those rights?
Who? There isn't one single person. One has to expose whole groups of people, one by one. The worst thing is...
His antagonist is also based on a historical character, Adam Chmielowski, a Polish artist who always selflessly stood up for the poor. The Marxist wants to lead the worker to freedom by means of revolution. His opponent preaches that a Christian must recognize Christ in every human being, and that only the mercy of Jesus Christ alone can lead to true freedom. His tireless efforts in challenging this political system, that throughout history has failed time again and again, should decades later influence world events in ways nobody could ever have foreseen. Without a doubt, Pope John